Again, a trap. Zai caught out on the high ground. Yules into the stun and dead.
That's the one hero you're most okay with losing, though. So
yeah, it is.
As much as he's quote-unquote off-lane three position player, no, this game he's the main support.
Secret are applying pressure elsewhere. 3 up in the top lane, but look who's rotating. It's a hasted maybe. This time he finds Kuro. The cooldown gets dropped on Sylar, but Kuro won't be so lucky. Yules is at the ready. Monovoid gets chucked out just to ensure the kill. A drive-by by the pony. And now they push the top lane. This will be the second to last downer tower if they claim it. And, well, it seems all but certain they will claim it. They are lacking their Earthshaker, but
he's defending
really
the split push, but nice deep Radiant Observer Ward spots him out. This is important because if you're going to split push mid-bottom lane, and you see a 4-man push from LG, you're like, okay, it's probably safe. But an Earthshaker Blink Echo with one hero TPing in, and that's potentially a dead gyro. Although, with that said, Arteezy, he's still split pushing. Maybe he's not taking advantage of that.
Oh, no, he's not. Blink Echo. Yao says, what the hell are you thinking, sir? Mega kill for maybe slaughtering the copter.
Was just about to talk about that ward preventing stuff like that happening, but Arteezy, I mean, you're in a desperate position. Yeah.
It's like you talked about with Eternal Envy the other day. Sometimes in this position, you just have to suicide push as a core. Keep on pushing, keep the lanes back until they actually kill you, just to slow the game down. But he is their team fight right now, really, and it's going to be a tough hold from here, Gods.
Absolutely. Sylar's got the Eagle Song up, so we'll be going to a Butterfly. Great damage output and pushing potential from this. And
let's see, can Secret pull out a miracle here? It's going to take close to that to hold this one. There is no Echo, which is the slight piece of good news. At the same time, no Gyrocopter, no buyback. S4 caught. There's a double stun into a Death Lord. They get the kill. Xiaowei just forced back Grave onto maybe holding him and keeping him alive for now. Now the self-fuels. There's no Echo. He's going to Bloodstone deny, so they don't get the benefit of that kill. But LGD will be rebuffed here, at least for now. There's the blink in, and now the Enchant Totem follow-up. They find the kill.
And Lesh is back in 5 seconds.
Very surgical moves here by LGD, and they will back.
I don't know if they want to continue going for a high ground. With Gyro respawning, and again, Lesh not having the Aegis, this makes things a bit tricky, and you just have that high-risk factor where if the Leshrac dies for whatever reason, that's a huge amount of gold going the way of Team Secret.
And they've got 2 really big items about to come out. The BKB just completed, or maybe's Leshrac. Secret don't have much on this. They have the Impetus, I believe, but that's really about it. And frankly, this Enchantress is just running for her life. The Queen of Pain ult, so-so.
Not bad. I mean, yeah.
He's just so tanky at this point. I mean, you're looking at a Leshrac with 1,700 HP, the double heals coming out, earn charges all over the place, and it's going to be tough to actually burst him down.
And Butterfly for Anti-Mage, very close as well, so...
And the next Roche, maybe they wait for that, but they found Puppey in the jungle. Fissure blocks the path of retreat. Maybe just going to bypass the call down and go directly. And Zai hooked MMY in the midst of this. He finds the first kill. Did take some heavy damage, but Xiaowei marches forward, goes to work on the backside with the Deathward on Arteezy, but cleaned up by a beautiful S4 ultimate. Not going to matter. Sylar was there. He slams it home. Then the Yules. They're looking to clean up the entirety of the Secret draft. Kuro being dove back. Blake, Enchant. He's dead. It's 4. The lone survivor, the clockwork of Zai, who did TP home. Buybacks are available on 2 here, but there's no cooldown, there's no Queen of Pain ult, and LGD, they're looking for the Game 2 win. There's the buyback. I honestly think they could consider going here, but they just want to play it safe. They know Roche is up, Gods, and with the next stages, in fact, he's up in 15 seconds. Then they can really just ball down mid.
Yeah, and buyback's already been forced. So from there, you're looking at Anti-Mage and Leshrac scaling even more towards the late game. Gyrocopter, his item progression is going to slow down. That was his BKB money. He no longer has anything towards the Mithril Hammer, the last piece of the puzzle for it. So 1,300 short of a BKB. May have it before the next LGD push comes, since they're going to go for Roshan. But there's so little farm on the map for Secret to take. It's really difficult for anyone to build items right now.
I just look at the net worth graph, and there's just so few green dots. It's a really sad sight for the Secret fans out there.
I mean, it was about 20 minutes before they got a kill. So
there's 5 dots here for Secret, and there's just an endless sea of red below that, just marking LGD's dominance so far of this game number 2.
It's the blue dude.
It's the blue. Well, maybe not only playing a really strong hero, but he's played it well. He's made all the right moves, and now they look for another Aegis. Sylar will blink into the pit. And away LGD goes with this Aegis. Bottom tier 2 still to be claimed. Maybe they want that, but it honestly feels like they can just run down mid and take a full lane of Rex.
One of the few games we're going to get to see maybe an Aghanim Scepter on Dazzle as well. MMY has a point booster picked up, so real luxury items coming out. And just feeling like he doesn't need a Glimmer Cape or anything. There's no real magic damage burst coming out from Secret. Outside of like the Gyrocopter, but you don't need a Glimmer Cape too much this game. Probably doesn't feel like he needs a Force Staff. Just tanking up with more stats just limits Secret's killing potential or ability to win a fight.
You called them super carries earlier, and they were only just getting towards it now. But, I mean, look at that net worth graph.
Yep.
They are over-doubling up every single Secret core. These two alone, top lane, S4, trying to split push. He does Blake, but it's not really the longest range Blake, and he's caught by an Enchant Totem, solo killed in the end by Yao. Clobbers him. That will slow down the push that was mounting bottom lane, but LGD still not giving up any towers for free. They hold the tier 2 top. They're going to even defend mid with Xiao 8, hunting familiars on his way out. And now Kuro in the river. He'll be the next pick off here. Found a rune, but not going to matter. The regen won't save him from the endless fires of, as you called him, the blue dude. And now it's time for LGD. Down the mid lane, looking to make this series 1-1. And should they pull it off, gods, it makes Group A super interesting down the stretch. Both teams would be tied with 11 points. Here we go. Tower falls. Where's the hold from Secret? No buybacks on 2. It might not even be a hold. They may just GG out in the middle of this push, honestly. They take one melee Rex. They look for Puppey as well. The Blake forward from Sylar. He's found him deep behind the tier 4s. Shredded. Just never felt the impact of the Enchantress this game. And now a leap in again, forcing Arteezy even further back. They are really committing for this one. LGD, normally they play it safe and just take objectives, but they want some kills along the way. These guys want to celebrate the win that they see in their future. Sylar barreling towards this tower, slicing and dicing, and they may make their move in just a moment. A stun forthcoming. Nope, maybe does get hexed here. Maybe they can turn this one, but he's ever so tanky. He's still got the BKB available. If he really needs to use it, he can, and he'll pop it now. And he runs back in with Sylar trying to isolate Kuroki on the backside, shreds his armor. Doesn't even have the Mana Void pop just yet. He's waiting to use an Arteezy, it seems. Might be able to kill him at the well. S4 also fairly low. They force back the Visage again, and now it's only 3 to hold. Call down already used. Queen of Pain hold up. LGD showing discipline here in the clutch. They'll take 2 full lanes of Rex, and I don't even know if they back. Here's Puppey to reemerge, but the Fissure's going to catch 2. The left on the other. Everybody disabled on Secret. Sylar just chopping Bambi to bits here. He's still got the Aegis. He didn't get off the Mana Void. He may get a double kill on the way out as Arteezy throws his own life away. Everything for the base. It's not going to matter. LGD make it 1-1, and they take this game 2 in one of the most one-sided games of the tournament, frankly.
Yeah, very convincing, but you could I'm all from start to finish, just great play coming out of LGD. They dominated the mid lane, and the solo kill from may be a big part of that, but it feels like, to me at least, even without it, things just with their draft were really hard to deal with. They had no answer for the anti-mage. There was no real way Secret could have laned it to pressure the anti-mage. And at the same time, you had a Leshrac in mid lane who was going to win his lane just by the nature of the Earthshaker rotations and the Witch Doctor camping mid to protect him. There was no room for Enchantress to get any early ganks off. No real obvious lane for Puppey to kill, so it forced Secret to play this very farm-intensive, greedy style.
You know, the worst part is we don't get a game 3. I want to see how this story ends.
If they finish tied at the top of the group, that's when the tiebreaker happens, LD.
I want to see how this story
Hopefully we'll be back
ends.
for that.
Well, we may have to wait until the main event, but my God, if these teams play each other this well going into the main event, we could be in for a real treat. They won't face each other in the first round, but who knows? Maybe this is a preview of a potential semifinal in Key Arena. Well, with that said, gods, a close game 1 that Secret pulled away with through great execution. A not-so-close game 2 that LGD crushed through. But the end result, each team gets a point. Both teams will emerge 11 points and still on top of Group A. But it also means the rest of the pack is still within striking distance if they have a really good run down the stretch. Complexity comes to mind as a team to keep an eye on. With that, back to the panel to see what they have to say.
Thank you very much. And as that game showcased, I think now we can finally all agree that Lesh is a pretty decent hero. He's all right.
Yeah, there's been a little bit of a discussion here on the panel as to whether Leshrac is a good hero, but we all think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, at this point.
Okay, so
Yeah, so let's talk more about the other parts of the game, or just overall. I mean, LGD, like they said, dominated in game 2.
yeah, maybe was playing out of this world in that game. The solo kill he got on S4, it's basically, I was talking to Winter about it during the game, how when you play the Quap versus Lesh matchup, you might want to not even skill Shadow Strike, because the problem is the trade you always get is the animation of casting Shadow Strike is pretty long, so Leshrac can answer in turn with a stun, and the actual exchange of health and mana favors the Leshrac every time. And the way the way S4 got first blood, it was on his own cliff, he tried to cast a Shadow Strike, maybe immediately identified he had a shot at it, he went for a stun, 2 right clicks, and got a Lightning Storm off to finish the kill. So that lane, after that point, was really, really difficult. And we never really saw Puppey trying to change the balance in that mid lane.
Yeah,
the Enchantress was just non-existent for me.
I thought he was going to gank him a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you can't
that was
leave
why
it.
they picked it, right?
Yeah. I was like, okay, well, if they want to go for a greedy jungler, they could have picked something else, like Enigma, let's say. But if you can't just have Quap versus Lush one-on-one. That is, it's just a terrible, terrible matchup for Queen of Pain.
Yeah, we'll talk more as we take a look at a highlight, and it's a highlight because it was the only time Lesh died. Other than that, Lesh was killing the whole other time.
Secret are sitting back in decent position to reveal
But,
it, and maybe
yeah, I mean,
Fissure Puppey to
of course, the
start.
mid matchup,
Side
I mean,
trap on the
most
wrong
of it,
side,
yeah,
now the Leshrac
maybe
still
just
comes down
going
with a 4,
absolutely
Hero
out of his
from
mind
Stun.
does help the
Puppey
game
now
for
from
LGD.
Earth.
But overall, I mean, LGD just seems to play a lot more confidently as a team off the back of maybe.
Yeah, this is just exceptional play from Secret. Like, with how much they have stacked against them, they show signs of life here, which I honestly thought this game could have potentially ended without Secret getting a kill, because LGD were taking complete control of the map. The Leshrac was 9-0. He had all their 9 kills at like minute 12. So he had I think it was 15 minutes. He had Bloodstone, Arcane Boots, 1,200 gold, Bottle, Wand, and a TP Scroll. It's like twice the net worth you usually have for something like that. Or maybe 1.5 times, right? He was ridiculously overfarmed. And I think it should also be mentioned how well Yao and Maybe played together in this game. I think the synergy between the Earthshaker and the Leshrac really showed. And what Secret should maybe draw from this is that in both games, LGD pick Shaker, they put it on Yao in the offlane, and both games he has a really high impact. I think it might be his absolute key go-to hero when he doesn't get the Tusk.
Yeah, so as we take a look at the ending moments of Game 2, Winter, let's talk about that. Yeah, on that Earthshaker, I mean, they're not afraid to pick it early. Of course, it is a little bit flexible. Do you think it's worth banning for other teams in even that first phase if they can set up a different trade?
I think it is, because if you look back at the games EG played yesterday, there were a few games that I think it was against Hot 6, they banned Earthshaker in the first phase. I think Earthshaker is a hero that can disrupt a lot of the early game. And if you look at Secret, the games that they lost, they had trouble in the early game. So if you are looking to beat Secret and looking for like signs of weakness in their play, it's got to be in the early game. If you can somehow nullify their early game and gain an advantage from the early game, which what Sin said, the Earthshaker plus Lash combination was so devastating in the game. So I feel that you should look towards getting a strong early game going for yourself to be able to stand a chance to be beating Secret. And the other big reason I felt that point shine was because S4 got solo kill. Otherwise, I think the game would have been a lot different because the Quap would be much of a bigger factor in the game, and the supports probably wouldn't have been forced to building so many, maybe only one on the Enchantress instead of 2 on both, because they felt that they needed to do more since the offlane is a Clockwork, and Clockwork generally falls off very hard. He becomes a support later into the game if he doesn't get too many kills.
All right. Well, as the commentators were wrapping up, I mean, do you guys agree this was a pretty good showing from both teams, and this is fairly accurate of how this is going to go if they meet again in later stages of TI5?
I'm actually curious what you guys think. So, Winter, you said that the weakness of Secret, if you're looking for a sign of weakness in their lineup, is the early game. What's the weakness of LGD?
I think LGD sometimes they in the first day they built their lineup. I think it was the game against Cloud9. They built their lineup way too heavily onto like late game. They had Ember plus Gyro, and they gave Cloud9 a lot of window of opportunities to end the game early, but Cloud9 didn't really do that. They had a good early game. Like, it's just the execution when they were pushing and finishing the game that wasn't crisp. I think that if LGD does that against Secret